Most container gardens reach their peak during the first summer, then slowly become thinner, weaker, and more disappointing every year after that. But these 6 perennial combinations do the exact opposite. They actually become fuller, more colorful, and dramatically more beautiful with each passing season. By the 3rd year, some barely resemble the containers you planted on day 1, and one combination near the end looks so professionally designed that most people assume it costs hundreds of dollars to create. By the end of this video, you'll know 6 professional perennial container recipes that become more beautiful every single year, require surprisingly little maintenance, and eliminate the need to constantly replace annual flowers every spring. With planting season here, garden costs climbing, and more people looking for containers that don't need to be torn out and replanted every year, perennial combinations that actually improve with age have never made more sense. They save money, save effort, and support pollinators season after season without a single replant. Let's start with number 1. Number 1. Cottage Garden Container. This combination brings together lavender, perennial salvia, and creeping thyme. 3 plants that share the exact same growing preferences, which is the real secret to why they thrive together instead of competing. All 3 do well in USDA zones 5 through 9, and all 3 demand the same thing: full sun and sharp, well-drained soil. Use a container at least 16 to 18 inches wide, ideally terracotta or another breathable material, since these plants genuinely resent sitting in damp soil. Plant lavender centered or toward the back, salvia filling the middle, and creeping thyme trailing over the front edge, spaced about 8 to 10 inches apart to give roots room to establish without immediate overcrowding. Water deeply but infrequently, letting the soil dry out between waterings, and skip heavy fertilizing entirely, since these plants actually perform better in leaner soil. In year 1, expect modest growth and scattered blooms as the roots establish. By year 2, the lavender fills out into a proper woody mound, the salvia rebounds fuller and earlier each spring, and the thyme has crept across the pot's surface. By year 3, the whole container reads as one lush, fragrant mass, spilling over the rim, humming with bees and pollinators through most of the summer. The most common beginner mistake is overwatering, treating this like a typical container planting instead of the drought-tolerant Mediterranean-style planting it actually is. In zones 5 and warmer, this combination survives winter outdoors in the container, though pushing the pot against a sheltered wall in the coldest weeks helps in zone 5 specifically. But the next container changes even more dramatically, and it thrives in exactly the kind of spot most people assume can't support a beautiful planting at all. Number 2. Shade Beauty Container. This one solves the problem every shaded porch or north-facing balcony runs into, combining hosta, heuchera, and Japanese forest grass for a planting built entirely around leaf texture and color, rather than flowers. Hosta thrives in zones 3 through 9, heuchera in zones 4 through 9, and Japanese forest grass in zones 5 through 9, all comfortable in part to full shade. Choose a container at least 18 inches across with good drainage, since while these plants want consistent moisture, they still don't tolerate standing water. Center a hosta as the anchor. Ring it with 2 or 3 heuchera. For color contrast, deep purples and ambers work beautifully against hosta's blue-green, and tuck the Japanese forest grass along one edge where its cascading, golden-green blades can spill over the rim. Keep soil consistently moist, checking every couple of days in warm weather, and feed lightly once in spring with a balanced, slow-release fertilizer. Year 1 shows modest, well-behaved growth. Year 2 brings noticeably larger hosta leaves and a heuchera clump that's doubled in size. By year 3, the hosta has matured into a substantial, architectural centerpiece. The heuchera forms a dense, colorful skirt around it, and the forest grass has grown into soft, flowing waves that move with the slightest breeze. Most gardeners overlook this combination entirely, assuming shade means limited options, when in reality, a well-textured shade container often reads as more sophisticated than a sunny, flower-heavy one. Number 3. Butterfly Magnet Container. This combination pairs coneflower, catmint, and coreopsis, three tough, sun-loving perennials, chosen specifically for how they stagger their bloom times across the entire growing season while pulling in butterflies and bees non-stop. All three perform well in zones 4 through 9, coneflower and coreopsis tolerating even zone 3 in many cases. They want full sun and are genuinely drought-tolerant once established, making them forgiving for anyone prone to forgetting a watering day. Use a container at least 18 inches wide, plant coneflower toward the center or back for height, catmint filling the middle with its soft, silvery foliage, and coreopsis along the front edge for its cheerful, long-blooming yellow flowers. Water regularly the first season while roots establish, then taper off to occasional deep watering afterward. Skip heavy fertilizer, since like the cottage garden combination, these plants bloom best without excess nitrogen pushing leafy growth over flowers. Year 1 delivers scattered, respectable blooms. Year 2 brings noticeably more flowers and a fuller, bushier form on all three plants. By year 3, the container becomes a genuine pollinator magnet, blooming in overlapping waves from early summer through fall, rarely without a butterfly or bee somewhere in the frame. The next one practically takes care of itself, and it might be the single most photogenic container on this entire list once it matures. Number 4. Elegant 4-season container. This combination brings together dwarf hydrangea, heuchera, and evergreen sedge, built specifically to deliver something beautiful in every single season rather than just one big summer show. Dwarf hydrangea varieties suit zones 5 through 9, heuchera zones 4 through 9, and evergreen sedge zones 5 through 9. All three tolerate part sun to light shade, making this a strong choice for a porch that gets filtered light rather than blazing full sun. Use a large container, 20 inches or more, since dwarf hydrangea still needs real root room. Center the hydrangea, surround it with heuchera for year-round color, and tuck evergreen sedge along the edges where its fine, arching blades stay green through winter. Water consistently, since hydrangea in particular dislikes drying out completely, and feed once in early spring. What makes this container special is the structure it holds through every season. Hydrangea blooms through summer, heuchera holds colorful foliage through fall, sedge stays green through winter, giving the container real presence even in the coldest months, and everything leafs back out fresh come spring. By year 3, the hydrangea has filled into a substantial flowering shrub, and the whole arrangement genuinely looks like something a professional landscaper designed, which is exactly why so many people assume it cost far more than it did. Wait until you see what happens by year 3 on the next one, because this is the container that rewards you most for doing almost nothing at all. Number 5. Drought-proof container. This combination pairs sedum autumn joy, blue fescue, and hardy ice plant, three of the toughest perennials available, chosen specifically for anyone who travels often or simply forgets to water. Sedum handles zones 3 through 9, blue fescue zones 4 through 8, and hardy ice plant zones 5 through 9. All three want full sun and, critically, sharp drainage, since the biggest threat to this combination isn't drought, it's soggy soil. Use a container with generous drainage holes, terracotta again being ideal, and don't be tempted to add extra compost or rich soil, since lean, gritty soil is exactly what these plants prefer. Plant sedum centered for height and its eventual rust-colored autumn blooms, blue fescue nearby for its striking silvery blue mounded texture, and hardy ice plant trailing along the edge for its bright, daisy-like summer flowers. Water only when the soil is fully dry, and skip fertilizer almost entirely. Neglect genuinely helps this combination rather than hurting it. Year 1 shows compact, tidy growth. Year 2 brings noticeably larger clumps and the ice plant beginning to spill nicely over the container's edge. By year 3, the sedum has bulked up into a substantial architectural presence. The fescue forms a dense, silvery mound, and the ice plant cascades generously, the whole container looking dramatically fuller than anything achieved through regular watering and feeding could explain. This next design surprises almost everyone because it delivers the longest, most colorful bloom season of any combination on this entire list. Number 6. Long Blooming Color Explosion. This final combination brings together daylily, Russian sage, and creeping jenny, layered specifically for height contrast, texture contrast, and the longest possible flowering window. Daylily thrives in zones 3 through 9, Russian sage in zones 4 through 9, and creeping jenny in zones 3 through 9. All three want full sun, and while daylily and Russian sage are quite drought-tolerant once established, creeping jenny appreciates slightly more consistent moisture, which the container's overall watering schedule easily accommodates. Use a wide container, at least 20 inches, planting daylily toward the back for its tall, strappy foliage and repeat summer blooms, Russian sage in the middle for its airy, silvery blue spikes, and creeping jenny along the front, where its bright chartreuse foliage trails dramatically over the rim. Water regularly the first season, then reduce as roots establish. What makes this combination the true grand finale is the bloom sequence. Daylily flowering in waves through summer, Russian sage blooming continuously from midsummer into fall, and creeping jenny providing vivid color contrast the entire season, regardless of what's flowering. By year 3, this container becomes a genuinely overwhelming mass of layered height, texture, and color, tall spikes above, wide daylily blooms in the middle, and a chartreuse waterfall spilling over the edge, easily the most visually dramatic transformation of anything on this list. What's fascinating is that the most beautiful perennial containers usually don't happen during the first season. They become truly spectacular only after the plants have had time to settle, spread, and naturally complement one another, and that's exactly what every combination on this list has in common. The secret to beautiful containers was never about constantly buying new flowers. It's about choosing plants that become better partners every single year, rewarding patience instead of demanding constant replacement. If you could plant just one of these perennial containers this weekend, which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed these perennial combinations, you'll love my next video, where I reveal more low-maintenance container gardening ideas that keep getting better year after year. Click on it now, and I'll see you happy growing.